Everybody can be seen, right? Y'all can see it? It's cool. Good, right?
It's delayed.
Shalom Hakim, Wafim, first and foremost, before we begin, we want to say Barakah Yahweh,
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 Call Lord Yahweh, Yahushua, Ma'ashem, Kadosh. I want you to the elder apostles of the great millstone, and we learn the truth from. Peace and salutation to the hopeful elect tabernacle of David, scattered among the four corners of the earth. And then my Lord will, y'all can hear us. We're just going to, go with the gun. We're just going to go with the spirit, as of now. And we just want to touch up on how there will be a global attack on the truth. All right, and we already get a bad rap, just as is, because, we known for going out there and, wrecking havoc, so to speak. We go out there and we oppose, many religions, philosophies out there, with truth, scriptures. And we know one of the ways to free our people is through this knowledge. That's why Yahushua said, in the truth shall,
John 8:32, and it reads, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. All right, it's wisdom that frees us from this mindset that we built being in this captivity.
Those mental changes.
Yeah, that bondage.
Yeah. And Esau, him being the powers that be, the rulers, they've been the ones that put us into that mental prison. And as long as we've been locked into that mindset, they've had their way with us. They've been able to rule over us. But with this truth, it's like we're basically being broken out. Right? So, Esau is going to do whatever he can to try to dismiss or discredit, the truth. And he's going to be setting up guys, all right, as controlling opposition to demonize the faith. That's why you got dudes that they're using right now that's constantly making headlines, talking about this dude, Grandmaster Fate, that agent. All right, they're keeping tabs on what this guy is doing, and it seems as though with each move that he makes, every time the headlines come out, he's tied in with the so-called Hebrew Israelites. And you already know it's going to be negative press behind it, so that's going to build a certain stigma about us. Which we already been dealing with things in the past. You had Comfy, he got brought down, and then he's dead now. You had the New Jersey thing that they tried to tie us to. All right.
We had several incidents. You had the bug out down in Miami. You had the incident in D.C.
Right.
The Nathan Phillips incident when they tried to demonize the truth.
Which he ended up winning the settlement.
No, the kid won the settlement.
Talking about the Covington school.
Yeah. The kid, either one kid.
He was at Appleton Bank, by the way.
Yeah.
That motherfucker won a settlement.
250
million.
Washington Post.
So that's why a lot of this demonization is going to come from the narrative of Emily.
And a lot of and not just they're going to demonize it, but they're also going to try to re-educate us or educate the public on what it is.
And they're doing with Nick Cannon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now everything that Nick Cannon thought he knew or believed, because he's being
using the hot seat.
He's being demonized and butt break in front of everybody. Now he's being made to butt broke. Now they're re-educating him. Right. Now he's basically denouncing the literature and the information which part of the information he was bringing out was based on the truth.
Right.
So now they're making him, take everything back, and now he's learning their culture and their history, and pretty much they might even use him to come against us now.
Something gotta happen. I want to say this about blood break, so everybody understands that term. Google it; it'll give you a decent breakdown of what it was talking about the slavery time, the slave masters used to do.
Willie Lynch.
Yeah, back in Willie Lynch time, what they would do, they would literally rape big grown-ass men, okay, to break their spirit.
In front of everyone.
In front of them, to humiliate them, the whole nine. And they usually use the bigger slaves that were around to do it, to set the example to the rest. Like, if we're doing this to the biggest slave, then you smaller slaves don't have a choice, a chance of fighting against us. You gotta just roll what we want to do. But that was a moment of demoralization for our people. And Nick Cannon is now going through that.
Like you said, you can compare that to Nick Cannon, because Nick Cannon's has a platform, so you can say he's not a big, obviously not a big Jake, but he has a platform where he's considered high up in this society by our people, and they see him being humbled down, or you say buck broken, or what are our people going to do? They're going to submit just like Nick Cannon, like, oh, maybe this rabbi, whoever, is right. Maybe I need to look up some things and read the Talmud or whatever.
It's totally forgetting the basics of the scriptures of when the chosen people will be in the land are not, the prophecies aren't being met. Somebody said and I got something too.
I gotta say,
Go ahead.
John 7:4-7. For there is no secret. For there is
We gotta speak up the camera.
For there is no man that doeth anything in secret, and he himself seeketh to be known openly. If thou do these things, show thyself to the world. For neither did his brethren believe in him. Then Yahushua said unto them, my time is not yet come, for your time is always ready. The world cannot hate you, but me it hateth, because I testify of it, that the works thereof are evil.
Yeah, and so the people will automatically gravitate to the wickedness of the world because they're connected to the world. They're not in the spirit of Yahweh. The masses, and this is the thing that Esau always gets. He uses mass programming. That is another term I'm trying to think of. But he'll program the masses, and the majority will overtake the few. That's usually how it works. If I get enough, same thing with wearing these coronavirus masks. If I get enough people wearing these masks, they'll begin to enforce themselves for everybody to wear them. Same thing with this.
It's happening. They get everyone to wear the mask. Everyone, you got people policing everyone else.
Exactly. And they don't have to do it themselves.
Yeah.
So the same thing when it comes down to Amalek, trying to declare who he is according to the Bible. Falsely. So forget all the truth, forget all the prophecies, forget all the actual secular history that doesn't line up with these people, being the Israelites. You have and other people that do fit those prophecies better. But you got him with Nick Cannon. You're gonna make everybody go back to the sleep mode. That was the point, right? Yeah, 2nd Ezra 9 at the top.
This is 2nd Ezra 9:1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
And I want to bring that out because both sides, whether it's Grandmaster Jake making the 2/3 be wicked as hell, blinding him, or Amalek working the other side of against the truth, making the masses go back to sleep, believing that the people the world calls the Jews are not dark-skinned people. Okay? Either way, they're both working against the whole thing, but forgetting the fact that the prophecy said that these things will be happening. Okay, that's where the truth lies. You can say whatever you want, somebody that wrote something historically, but future tense prophecy can't refute that.
And the truth coming out about this Bible, it mainly directly affects Amalek. You know, the other nations, they'll get revealed for their wickedness and, you know, what they've done to the children of Israel. But first and foremost, that's because they're in control right now.
They're at the top.
They're at the top. They run everything. So, and they're the really the head of the dragon. You know.
Perfect.
You know.
Was the control opposition?
Yeah, the one. Because they playing both sides of the same fight.
Yeah, even Balaam, he even prophesied through the Most High, or by the Most High, that Amalek would be basically the chief. They would get a higher ranking hierarchy on the earth in the last day. Let me,
You got that?
yeah, let me get it. That's why all the heat is really coming down at them.
Because you don't see the regular Edomites. They ain't really catching no hell. They right now. They're not being exposed for anything. They just
They don't have a lot to do with what they position. But Amalek, you got identity theft, you can slaughter people, like you look at it.
blaspheme the name, the image of our Lord Yahushua and the angels and the Most High.
Their chief house got a lot on their car for that. You know that.
It says, this is Numbers 24 and 19. It says, out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city. And he looked on Amalek, and he took up his parable, and said, Amalek was the first of the nations.
Look at the top. It's all point.
The top is first. Notice he gets first dibs on everything. 'Cause he controls everything.
He's not in trouble like that. I mean, although the narrative is being in the top ranking position, he shall lend the deed, he should not be able to lend to him.
They speak legally concerning oppression.
Yep, all of that fits this guy.
Yeah, he's first. You know, like when it comes to oppression, his story has to be exalted over everybody else's history.
Yeah, but look what I went through. That's them.
That's what he did on Kennedy.
Yeah.
What's his name? Rabbi something Cooper.
Yeah.
He's basically saying if anybody in the world can say that the earth is cruel or you know whatever is however he said it would be his people.
His name had to be Abraham.
Yeah.
They always pick
Yeah.
our forefathers' names just to fit that role. You know, last name or the first name.
So the worst thing ever happened to y'all get the biggest payout
Yeah, like
from
that.
what happened.
The worst. That ain't the worst.
Right.
That ain't the worst. Clearly. Okay, if that were a true situation, it'd be bad. But then, how fair is that? Because you got to rule the world after that. You're in control of the world because of those claims that went on about that time in history, talking about the time of the Holocaust. You got the position of ruling the earth after that. Okay?
Got the sympathy from the world.
The whole world gave you sympathy. Yeah.
It says, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he shall perish forever.
Mm-hmm. And what does it say that about? It says that about Edomites. In the book of Obadiah, the wicked, says that no one else was promised to perish forever but Esau. Okay, so that lets you know that's part of their chief house. If you go into, you don't have to, but if you go into Genesis the 36th chapter, it'll explain how it'll name the dukes of Esau. I believe Amalek was the prince. He was already there.
This is Genesis 36, and we'll start here verse 15.
Now this is just one angle. We still got the whole Grandmaster Jake demonizing soccer too.
In which they control it both sides.
Yeah, exactly. We know Amalek is the one controlling both sides. That's why you show them handshakes at Grandmaster Jake, certain Masonic building poses, and come on, man. Let's be see through the whole
You
thing.
saw that picture of him where he had on a three-piece suit. It was when he was running for president, and he was posing up against this wall that had like a Masonic compass next to it. With a G in the middle.
It was one of the temples.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously they got money. They put money behind it.
Ain't no way you get to in that building and any level in that building, especially trying to run for president without them filtering you through their system. They gotta make sure you're good.
Everything, I mean, one more thing before we get to it. And the whole goal is to use them to demonize the Hebrew Israelite faith. That way, when whatever this nigga Grandmaster Fake do, when it makes headlines, they can use it to
Just push a narrative all
push
over
a
the whole
false
world.
narrative about us
Yep.
globally,
Globally.
because they the ones that control these different networks all over the world.
Last week we looked up different networks, media outlets. Ooh, they had everything the people watch.
None of them being put out in mass media without their stamp of approval.
If you can watch it on regular TV, they don't. If you watch it on regular cable, they don't. You gotta go deep into the internet to get past. They blockade to get their information.
So Genesis 36:15. These were the dukes of the sons of Esau, the sons of Eliphaz, the firstborn son of Esau, Duke Timid, Duke Omar, Duke Zepho, Duke Kenaz, Duke Korah, Duke Gatim, and Duke Amalek. These are the dukes that came to Eliphaz of the land of Edom. These were the sons of Adab. And these are the sons of Raul, Esau's son, Duke Nahat, Duke Zerah, Duke Sheba, Duke Zah. These are the dukes that came from Raul in the land of Edom. These are the sons of Bashemoth, Esau's wife.
We had a couple wives, and Amalek came out of one of the wives. Man. It's not about the wives; it's about the father line. Where the seed come from. Okay, and Amalek is a direct descendant of Esau. So he's just another chief of Esau, but he became the chief house of Esau. Okay? Yeah.
There it says the definition for the duke.
Yeah,
Hebrew word is alawah, and it says a chieftain, a captain, governor, chief. Yeah, governors.
top of the boss.
Hey, another word for governor is ruler. So the top rulers of Edom is mainly Amalek. So that's how we know that they're the Amalekites. And that's why us coming up and coming into our nationality is a threat to them. Because they have the wealth and the power to deceive the planet and take our identity and take our land. So now that we're rising back up and we're claiming our heritage, the main attacks are going to come from their heads, the chiefs. You know, it's going to come straight directly from them.
So let's paint a picture of the movie Roots, okay? Because that's a Hollywood movie made, funded by Amalek. At the bottom, at the end of the day, Amalek put that movie out.
Whether
Y'all see where I'm going with this, right? So imagine Toby or Kunta Kinte, name was, James, Levi or whatever, right? Let's say he had a Hebrew name that connected him to the children of Israel. Well, in that same moment, your name gonna be Toby, boy, where he beat it out of you, the slave master beat that out of Kunta Kinte. That's what was done to the children of Israel right now.
not just the name.
No, everything. The whole heritage. And when it said we would discontinue, that was them putting their foot in our ass to make us forget about who we were. So they could eventually, that was what, remember we shot around 16, 17, 1800s? Talking about that time period, but I'm saying Roots particularly. This slavery days, so the early days of America. Not to the mid-1900s that they feel comfortable to say that they were the children of Israel and not have any backlash for it. Okay, so this has been a process of them for hundreds of years to get into this seat, the ruling of the earth. Right?
Deuteronomy 25:17. Break it down. Remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way when ye were come forth out of Egypt. How he met thee by the way smote the hindmost of thee.
Yeah, the one at the back of the line, right? They do a damn asshole, man, the whole time. Amalek has been an asshole unto the children of Israel the whole time.
But even all that were feeble behind thee, when thou wast faint and weary, and he feared not the Most High. Therefore it shall be, when the Lord thy power has given thee rest from all thy enemies round about, in the land which the Lord thy power giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven, thou shalt not forget it.
He's always been a chief house. That's why when you go into 2 Thessalonians, he's always been a chief house that's been deceiving our people, deceiving us. That's always been had an influence back from Genesis. That's like when that spirit continued through Esau into Amalek, on how much he hated the children of Israel. That this man went through a diabolical scheme to hate us. The regular Edomites just don't like us on the surface. They want to hide it. They want to take energy from Jake, but also hate Jake at the same time. This man's a damn devil.
Okay. So this is 1 Ezra 4 and 38. As for the truth, it endureth and is always strong. It liveth and conquereth forevermore. And if the things that we were saying and prophesying about didn't have any merit, they weren't true, they would just let us continue to go on and say these niggas is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, none of this stuff is going to happen. But the words that we speak have truth. You know, through the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai, that coming to pass. You see these things. We can see economic turmoil. We can see we're on the brink of world war. We can see famine. You see these things, then the people are going to start to listen. It's like, yo, they got the truth. You know, because what Esau is telling you is that, you know, the economy is going to come back and, you know, just wear a mask, things are going to be all right.
We implement this chip, it's going to solve everything.
Exactly. And that's what they're telling you.
Yeah.
Go back to normal.
Yeah, everything go back to normal. Yeah. Yeah. Like if we were saying, we were just saying some just crazy shit, they would let us, they would like, yo, you guys is crazy. We got to put them in the crazy house.
Maybe on like comedy
Yeah.
shows,
Yeah.
the Trevor Noah's and
Yeah,
stuff
Yeah,
like
we'd
that.
be on that.
Saturday Night Live.
Jokes being monologue about.
Yeah, these guys are wearing dresses, they
We
go out.
had prime time on the news or something. If they don't believe, by all these years that the apostles and their elders have been out there, all the way up until now, the truth has been out there. We ain't on the news nowhere, nowhere seriously.
And this, one thing about this truth, it hurts. It hurts Esau, and it actually hurts 2/3 of our own people, because we're telling them also, you know, to get right, but also we're telling them their judgment if they don't. We're telling Esau, Edom, their judgment, period. You know.
Yeah. I got something right quick. We have more.
No, that was it. That was it. Okay.
Because you talking about you was talking about read those two one more time. Yeah.
This is second Ezra, excuse me, first Ezra, chapter 4 and verse 38. As for the truth, it endureth and is always strong. It liveth and conquereth forevermore.
The truth is always going to stand, and the truth is going to stand alone. You need something going down?
2 Ezra 6 and 28. As for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which hath been so long without fruit, shall be declared.
I figured that looking at it. I'm reminded. Sirach chapter 27, verse 6. The fruit declared that the tree had been dressed. Okay? Yeah, it was being subject to the truth, the fruit, for fruit there. You know it's the truth by those that speak it, by everything that's lining up with the truth. Like the prophecies. You can say whatever you want about you being the jade, the two small heights of the jade, but you can't put these prophecies of what's happening to the children of Israel in the northern and southern kingdom and throughout the world. You can't put yourself in all them prophecies. You got one event, but you don't have slave ships. You don't have conquistador ruling. You don't have oppressed together. There's a lot of different things that you don't fit into these scriptures, man. You know, raising up one nation again, and nobody knows it, but besides you and us, we're the only two that really understand how the northern and southern kingdom should not be together right now if it wasn't for the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai. We were enemies not 5 to 6 years ago, like hardcore enemies right before this troop gained some major ground.
Who's the northern kingdom that they go to war?
Right. Where's the rest of your tribes?
Yeah.
It said all 12 in the book of Revelation, and all 12 from each would be there.
See, they don't believe them.
Just like they don't believe in the books of Moses, right? Of course they don't. But what you gonna do when that big man shows up, with his chariot and declare the world his? What you gonna do at that moment?
Just let it settle. Argue the people, but none of y'all believe.
Because the book's a lie to them. They don't want that
Believe
book to be
in the
true.
man who the book is about.
Right.
Don't believe in Yahushua.
That we should close out right now.
Yahushua is the
We're
word.
on that. We should close out on small ass right now. On that.
It
I
was
listen
written
to
to me.
the people and it's the book and the guidance book, but you don't believe in the book. But you say the book is what makes you the people. Get the hell out of here.
And the world fought that.
Because nobody want to read the book. This is the most difficult book ever in the history of all books.
Nobody until our apostles, of course, our biblical men began to, through the Spirit, begin to reveal these things.
Right.
Our people just took the book, slave Bible, and just read it and read for, face value for what it says in the words, but the apostles and elders, they went deeper, started to look up these words. What do these words mean in the Greek? What do these words mean in the Hebrew? And there you go. And
The spirit was moving. That's
Right.
beautiful. Most beautiful. And them small eyes don't have the spirit. Not if you have a Bashim shot.
I got a precept. This is Daniel 12:4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased.
The spirit moved, and now the knowledge is out there now. And just general knowledge through this internet, through study, through social media, it's just being pushed around so fast that people are just growing in knowledge, basic knowledge of the world. And this truth can just be so long without fruit, it can just flourish as constantly watered.
It's not a Jake that's on any type of social media platform. I don't care if it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of that. You want to know about the Hebrew Israelites.
You're gonna run across.
Yeah, you're gonna run across.
Right.
If you click fast, you're gonna see it. See it. So you're gonna hear this. You're gonna see this truth. You're gonna know about this truth.
Basically what it says, the Lord, he pretty much, he was silent for a while, but now the Lord is, he's not holding his tongue anymore.
Holding his tongue, touching the wickedness.
That's the second
That's
thing
it.
I've seen, but it was
There's
another
another one, yeah.
But the Lord's been silent for a long time, but now that, going back to when the apostles and the elders, when they were on the scene and their elders were on the scene, that was when the Lord started to begin to open up and start to speak and yell out and start calling, to remembrance, our people. It's from that moment on, it's just been forwarding of his word and hearing of the truth. And over the course of time, we've been starting to slowly, surely see those dry bones get that moisture. And now, it's looking like we're coming back to life. And that's putting fear upon the higher ups. I'm not sure. That's not it, but that's the way we face it. That's the way.
Read that one.
Because I wasn't something to 12. When I hold my tongue, they shall bide my leisure. And when I speak, they shall give good ear unto me. If I talk much, they shall lay their hands upon their mouth.
That's That's a truth.
That's the one that you want. I think I know the one that you want.
No, but we know that the mouth of the Most High is his prophets. The moment the Lord sent his men out there to go up there and teach his word, that was the Lord pretty much not holding back his tongue. All right, so now the Lord is he's vocal to his men, and the truth is being brought out, is being declared. So the enemy, they pretty much have to do damage control. They gotta, discredit us. They gotta, ad hominem attack us. Smoke screen. Attack our belief system. Our character,
or attack the validity of the scriptures.
Yeah.
So,
That's why we don't believe in it, because it has all this anti-Semitic. The Bible was anti-Semitic.
But what's interesting though, and I did a video like maybe 2 days ago. This is how we know that guys like Vocab is set up, and they're probably using him, is because he's able to, the same way he attacks us, he attacks the Muslim world.
Yeah.
And to my knowledge, the Arabs are Shemitic people.
Yeah.
So when he does all those mockeries and attacks, reinforcing stereotypes against the Islamic community, demonizing them, and basically harassing them because of their so-called belief system. Because according to YouTube, there's a low tolerance for attacking a person based on their sexual origin, their race, their religious beliefs. So if you're doing that, you're supposed to be penalized. This dude, he does all type of videos, getting at us, getting at them. And we're supposed to, and we identify as Shemitic people. Right. Those Arabs and Muslims that he goes against in boxing attacks, they're Shemitic. So why doesn't Vocab, why isn't he considered anti-Semitism? And why don't YouTube flag his videos and take his stuff down? That's because he's pushing a narrative that's safe to Amalek. He's basically attacking anything that goes against Amalek.
It's okay unless Amalek is at the bullseye.
The way he attacks us and the Muslims, will he go against the small hats the same way?
No.
Will he scrutinize the Babylonian Talmud that they read from?
Thank you.
Well,
That right there has to.
why don't he say anything about them circumcising babies with their mouth?
Yeah.
Right, mutilating them.
Yeah.
Why would he scrutinize how in the Torah it says that a man could marry a 3-year-old and a 9-year-old?
Marriage means joined together, which means have sex.
Yeah.
They say you can have sexual intercourse. It literally says that verbatim in the Talmud. So why don't you scrutinize them on that?
No pedophilia being brought up with that. No.
You go against atheists, you go against us, you go against the Muslims. Why not them though? Not one video, not one.
Yeah.
It's because he's working for them. He works for them. He's an agent. He's working for them. I believe honestly, I believe he's one of them.
I think
And he's on that assignment.
Yeah.
You know?
Because
So this spiritual warfare is waged between us and them because we've always been at war with each other. But Amalek, because they know the left hand side, they know witchcraft,
they're the light bearer on the left hand.
so they know exactly what ways to attack us. You know?
God, then they have this world influence to also back into. They got the minds of people, so it's easy for people to be like, oh yeah, you're right. They are the bad ones, they are the liars, they are this, they are that. Because he's able to push it on that broad skin,
Yeah, I got some juicy history on these small ones. Good.
Let's speak a little louder because
That's what I
brothers are saying that they can really hear us.
All right, this is from the Institute of Historical Review.org. And it says the myth of the 6 million, the Jews that aren't. So
This video is gonna get flagged out. I'm gonna take this shit down while it's waiting for process.
Download it now.
It's a big article, so I'm gonna jump around his points.
Keep going.
Jump around. Okay, this is the case in Wilson. All right. As a matter of fact, our alleged descents from the Khazars central theme of Arab propaganda added. The Arabs claim most European Jews have no right to be in Israel in the first place because they are not descended from the biblical Hebrews, but from Tartar, Mongol, nomad tribes, including the Khazars, who were converted to Judaism 1,000 years ago.
That's secular history, what you mean. I mean, it backs up right in history books. There's accounts of different books and respected publications put out about the same information.
Sometimes these Edomites will they'll even admit, okay, we're the Caucasians, or we were the Khazars, but they won't go back further to that they were Esau Edom. All of them are trying to run from that identity right there. You know.
In the year 965, the Khazars were defeated for the first time in 500 years by Prince Viatoslav of Kiev. King Bulan III of Khazaria, as Kagan concluded that Prince Viatoslav emerged victorious from the war because his troops and mercenaries were Christians, while his nomads were pagan worshippers. The king and his nobles embraced Judaism in 965, and in 966 a royal edict was passed enforcing Judaism as the only legal religion in the Khazarian kingdom.
What happened there is no different than when you had Idumeans going back to the Hellenist period towards the end. There were a lot of Idumeans who were being converted to Judaism. You had John Hyrcanus. He forcibly converted them. And that's why you had the Herodians that came in right after the Hasmonean dynasty. That was the reason why they knew the law.
They were even fighting against
the Romans in the Roman Judaic War.
And what was the purpose of that? So, because the idea is to be that top ruler, they want their birthright back, basically, but to be that top world ruling class.
They always wanted in on our right.
Yep.
You know, they feel like they're entitled to that. We know how it went.
Yeah.
Got your shit. Hustle.
Yeah.
But the Most High wanted it to go down that way because he wanted it to be given to his chosen anyway. You was rejected. He didn't choose you.
Exactly. And it says it right there where we're not chosen. You want the brothers to be.
The tribesmen had to undergo circumcision, learn Hebrew prayers, and recognize Jewish rabbis and the spiritual leaders on pain of death. There's more. You can read. You can research the whole Kagan building history. Out of Amalekites, they're Edomites. They're basically converted to our ways. To so-called Judaism.
And a clue, if I may add, a clue to their conversion is what their language is mixed with. It's mixed with the languages from where they came from. Trying to intermingle Hebrew into that. And that's why now it's
Germanic, Slavic,
I think some
Hebrew,
and some maybe Latin or something. It's like there's something else in there. But it's a bad tongue. There's no pure language to it. The Hebrews speak a pure language. Okay?
Yeah, man may add, even the modern Hebrew, because that's a Syrian script. The Syrians basically, rewrote, scrolls, from Paleo to their Syrian script. So what you say in the Syrian script Hebrew, that's not, the true written style of it.
And that's an artful style. Really.
And that's more history. Go back into research.
Yeah, and these type of things you can, go look it up, and it's out there. These are things that they tried to hide, for ages. They didn't want all this information to come out, but we're the main ones pushing it out. They have the world on lock, but their so-called educational systems, pushing everything that they want people to know so that they can, control everything. And now the truth is coming out, so now people are like, everybody's putting two and two together. So now this is where you got to jump out and do all this psychological warfare. Now you got to set up guys and use these psyops and stuff like that to try to discredit the truth. Because this is starting to tear in, to your whole, basically your whole existence. And you're going to even have certain dudes that you got in your pockets that know that they're Israelites. Certain sellouts, man. We can't forget, besides Esau being the enemy, 2/3 of our own people always been the enemy.
Yep.
If you remember in the show, me and brother did a lesson on it a while back, Killer Mike went to sleep, right? When he went and talked to Creflo Dollar, Creflo Dollar, he like, put the camera on, he put him to the side and said, hey, people don't want to see us.
Creflo Dollar said, I know.
Yeah.
Like,
but they rather listen to them than us. Showing that he was insincere about the message. And that came on. I know he probably called up Killer Mike pissed, but ain't nobody wants to say shit. They care. Everybody has a joke track to keep them. They all the way in. Into that energy you got over this picture. They like you to like it. I want to bring up I'm going to start here in the book of Obadiah, first chapter, of course.
I think that AC is overwhelming the audio.
Too much? Shut it off. Hopefully that cleared it. Yeah, hopefully that cleared it up. The fan is on.
Let us know if y'all can hear us better now.
Yeah.
To you brothers that are watching.
Show me the really set the audio below and then the next message so you can hear that.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll just roll with it like this. I'm gonna start at Obadiah. Obadiah, the first chapter. I'm gonna start up at 3. It says, the pride of thine heart, matter of fact, verse 2, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. It do swear he the majority, but he really the vast minority in the earth.
Because the heathen know, the rest of the heathen know who's running the world. Mm-hmm. They fall in line, but don't think for a second that they don't despise and hate this devil.
Right.
You're gonna come over here and tell me how to run my country, and if I don't listen, they're gonna bring troops in. And these heathens know that Amalek, runs the world.
I'm gonna start verse 1.
Because that's why they said it's greatly despised. They just they're rising up because they're tired of taking orders and
the backdoor deals that's falling through, and everybody's tired of having to make deals with obligatory deals with you, but have to
deals that don't benefit them.
That's what I'm saying. But having to take L's on all these deals. I'm gonna start verse 1. It says, "The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord Yahweh." That's me fixing it. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, power concerning Edom. I want to make sure that part got out there. That who he's talking about in this chapter is about the prophecy is about the Edomites. It said, "We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen, Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. This is a spiritual war more than anything at this point. It'll turn physical, but right now it's a spiritual war. It says this the main stage of the battle is fought spiritually anyway. In this, it says, "Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen; thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock."
Hey, a lot of the people despising them is coming from all the shame that's being seen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because everywhere you're at, you know, that's where the most havoc is at. There's a lot of conflict, turmoil, fighting over resources. There's a lot of protesting, fighting, division going on. A lot of pride going on, a lot of degeneracy going on. Like this whole thing with these politicians and presidents and the higher ups, they blasting it now through I wouldn't say mainstream media, but they just putting it out there how you got these well, they're pedophiles, but you got a lot of these senators and presidents and politicians that are juiced in with the higher ups.
Right.
They're taking these children and they're putting fear into them. You know, they're terrifying them. And one thing about when you terrify a child, it releases adrenaline into their blood.
It's like
And then they
I know what
drink
you're
it.
talking about. And they drink it.
And they basically they convert it into adrenochrome capsules.
Yeah.
And they say the more terrified that child is, the more potent the adrenochrome is. And it gets super high off of it.
Yeah.
So a lot of these children that are going missing and that they're trafficking, they're
Scare the shit out.
they're scaring them, they're terrorizing them, they're abusing them. So these children are not safe, and guess who's taking the heat for that?
Yep.
You Edomites.
It ain't that you're just taking the heat. The heat is pointed at you.
Yeah.
Everybody see that you doing it between Wayfair, between Epstein Island,
Yeah.
between the emails, between the ex-presidents. We're being nice, not naming you people.
Pizzagate.
Yeah,
Right.
Pizzagate, so on and so forth.
Why did they kill?
Cosmic
Why did
Pizza.
they kill that judge's family?
Yeah.
Yep.
The judge in the Ghislaine Maxwell case. Why are they going after their family? And why are they refusing to call her a pedophile when she helped to assist
Yep. The whole.
in his whole
Operation.
operation?
Yep.
They think like Epstein was just a mastermind behind it. He was making appointments and booking
No, the people doing what they
plane
want to
rides
do.
and all that shit. No, he had a whole network working,
Yeah.
and he had employees.
Yeah.
They were all, all like you said, all juiced in together with that shit. It wasn't just one.
Yeah, because where you gonna go to go get your freak on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to a pimp,
Right.
and that's what he was, a pedophile pimp.
Like,
That's all he really was. He provided the place to do it. He had people to make you comfortable, bring you in.
a secluded place where no one can just roll up. No one can. Ain't no police
No.
can just drive by or nothing. You had to have you had to have a ticket to really get to that island.
Yeah.
You know.
Flight plans.
Flight-
and shit.
yeah.
It was a special. You had to, I don't even think they had commercial flights going there. They had to be
Private.
private. And even the private size
The
planes.
Lolita Express.
I think, yeah, the Lolita Express, right? I think they may have had commercial size airplanes that could fly over there, but they were using them for private. I mean, just showing you the mass number at the way this
Well,
man was working.
Who knows how long that island has been there running?
Yep.
Who knows?
Who had it before him?
Exactly. The real history of it. Yeah.
Mhm.
And the thing about it is, that's just one island. Think about over there in Dubai, they have all these man-made
Yeah.
islands where they do all kind of wicked shit.
Yeah.
They got all kind of islands you can't really see on a map in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
In the the South, down there by Asia, like Tahiti. And,
South,
yeah, they got
South
islands
Pacific.
all over there.
Yep.
So
They get children from all
Man.
over and then port them into those
Yeah.
places, man.
yeah,
Yep.
Job 30. I gotta start at 1 to read all the way to 8.
Hey, and I was gonna have you go to that because that's also what it means when it says, "I have made you small among the heathen." It means younger, meaning he's becoming more insignificant. He's not as important as he portrayed himself to be. He's really a low life. He's vile. And people are starting to see his true nature. It's showing in these last days, man. You know? But yet, because they crept into power and, you know, they created this false image, everybody thought that these were the good, righteous, wholesome people.
Yeah.
Because they
These
did
people
their
are made
study.
in the image of the Most High.
They
you know?
did their study to be an to identity thief or theft somebody. You gotta study that person to really fit that when you are confronted by somebody about your identity.
Yeah, that's like you have a fake ID.
Yeah,
You're gonna memorize the address,
Yeah.
the birthday, everything. So when someone you know, you get carded.
Yeah.
Well, what's your address? When's your birthday? And they it's this. Okay, here you go, sir. And that's what's been happening. But now we're saying,
The evidence is out there.
okay, what street did you grow up on?
Yeah.
You know, we're going deep.
I'm from there. What did
We're
you
going
do?
deeper. You know, we're going deeper
Yeah.
into it. You know, to expose you devils.
Yeah. And we care enough. And who's gonna care enough?
Mhm.
But the person whose identity has been stolen. Okay? You got it, bro.
Job 30:1. But now that they are but now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. Yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want and famine they were solitary, flying into the wilderness in former time desolate and waste. Who cut up
So
Mallow.
fleeing into the wilderness.
For want and famine they were solitary, flying into the wilderness in former time desolate and waste. Who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after
Hey,
them.
when did they get driven out? They were driven out a few times. The biggest one that we always remember was when, before he was actually the Edomite, he was Cain and he got pushed out as a vagabond wanderer in the earth. When that mark was set on him. And then he had to wander the earth looking for basically looking for Jacob to get payback. But then later in history, did that happen again also? How they got in the Caucasus Mountains?
I think King David drove them out to the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Byzantine Empire.
Yeah.
1,000 years.
Yeah.
Was from 392 to 1400s.
Yep, they was up in the mountains.
A lot of those Romans, you know, when they start to fall, a lot of them, if they was in exile, they fled away. And that's how a lot of them ended up there into that northern region. You know, a lot of them, they knew to flee into them caves because that's their natural habitat anyway.
Right.
They come from Mount Seir.
Yeah, they're comfortable up there. Exactly.
So they know how to, they like to dwell in regions where the terrain is steep. And they also like to be where the climate is pretty cold.
And that's what's funny when you go into those juniper roots and mallows. Leafy greens don't grow in high altitude like that. Okay, you need those roots to protect it to grow that way. So they would dig up them roots and eat those for meat, like potato, carrot type vegetables.
That shows you how this low and barbaric Esau Edom is. And it shows you the power of the Most High. That he made this piece of shit that, excuse my language, that come from the mountains eating juniper roots and acting, they didn't even have a language. They just, mumble words and,
Yeah,
things like
they're not coming up, they break.
oh yeah, come on, it get it, bro. Yeah, read it.
They were driven forth among men. They cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in the caves of the earth, and in the rocks. Among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they
The
were.
brain is like grunting and moaning and that old caveman talk.
Like the commercial.
Yeah.
The caveman could do it.
Caveman, yeah,
That's
that
Esau.
Esau.
The
That's
movie that came out in the 90s called Encino Man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Encino
yeah,
Man,
yeah.
that was a good one too. I really like that.
style of language. Among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they were gathered together.
Bro, isn't that describing somebody that's barbaric,
Yep. Caveman,
a beast?
a Neanderthal.
That's what Nick was saying in his interview.
That shows you that he knows. He been reading the scriptures. He been following the Hebrew Israelites. I don't know what camp, but
Yeah, he
You
knows
know.
something.
He tried to go a little scientific.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
tried to throw
Because
some
he-
melody,
because
some
Yeah,
nonsense.
yeah.
Because he knows that nobody's, and that's when Esau, that's his part of his deception. If his scientists don't prove it, it ain't true. If it can't be proven by science, then it ain't true, which is a bunch of bull.
Yeah. But why get offended at that as if that was an anti-Semitic
Yeah,
statement?
yeah.
Right.
When the Bible says
Yeah.
that's how y'all live.
Mm-hmm.
And now all of a sudden you're the chosen people?
Chosen people. You're the seed of King David.
Yeah.
Like, look at you people.
We're royal, even in slavery and in captivity, we know how to, keep ourselves
Keep our-
well kept
yeah.
and groomed and
Esau,
Hygienic.
Esau, so wait, but Esau had to, implement laws to keep their women away from us.
right.
Because even in our lowest state, you had slave women, slave jakes that were slaves, were free Edomite women would marry them and be on the plantation with them. Just to be with that jake. And Esau, man, because they know once, Jake start bubbling, we get the power, it's over. You can't do shit. That's why they had to implement all these, these wicked ass laws and stuff.
Verse 8, they were children of fools, yeah, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. I looked up vile in the Webster's Dictionary. It means morally despicable or abhorrent.
So let me bring something up real quick. What were the majority? When you read the books of Moses, a lot of those laws were hygiene laws of how to stay clean and remove filth, what was the word, to remove uncleanness out of Israel and so on and so forth. Of how to keep yourself clean, how to deal with yourself, how to eat clean animals.
To be
Esau,
holy.
to be holy, separate. The rest of the nation didn't know that, let alone Esau. Esau was still doing that thousands of years later. After this was instilled in our people. And it's still, as slaves and everything, it's still instilled in our people that we act a certain way. And they're barely coming out of it, but they're reverting back to that barbaric what was the other word you used? Brute beast state of living that they've been in.
Physically repulsive, foul, of little worth or account, tending to degrade, disgustingly or utterly bad.
It said not worthy
Say of little worth or
little,
account.
of little worth.
Yep.
And that's another way of saying insignificant,
Yep.
which is going into why he said that they're younger than us.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then when you go to Hebrews
Small.
12, it identifies Esau's character as being a profane person and a fornicator.
Yep.
That's somebody that's totally vile. He has no
Yeah.
morals.
Exactly.
See, if you're supposed to be the chosen, you're supposed to be a light shining to the nations of how to be.
Yep.
Why are everybody learning how to be degenerate from you?
Being stingy, you known for being stingy.
Man, being the
That's
biggest
what we're talking
leech
about.
ever.
Yeah.
Exploiting and robbing everybody for everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And
You
it's
got no
beautiful that we're
good
going into
character.
Amalek first. We mentioned the other side, Grandmaster Jay and everything, but the truth really begins at Amalek. Okay, it really begins with Esau. All the things he's doing.
Yeah, because even the Lord told Ezekiel prophesy against Mount Seir.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why like a lot of people, they get sick and tired of us going on Esau. They're always talking about the so-called white man. We need to worry about what you.
You don't know if you don't worry about Esau, you don't know what to be concerned with in this world. There's no greater adversary than what Edom has put out there, whether themselves or the 2/3.
Our people don't understand how deep Esau's wickedness
Man,
can go.
I had a judge tell me, I just can't believe it goes this deep. I said, this ain't shit. I was just barely telling him about the Illuminati. He got pissed at me. He didn't want to hear it. That was just the Illuminati level before the truth.
It's too much.
That's what we say. It takes a nigga to make a nigga, man.
Yep, and Esau's that, and he is that despicable nigga. As Sir Candy said in Django, Esau is that nigga. Well, that taught us exactly how to be the degenerates the 2/3 of our people still are.
I mean, look what they turn our people into when our people try to be so-called successful in this society.
Hey, full of tats,
Look what
homosexual.
the type of shit you got to do to enter into this
Man.
entertainment industry.
Like
It's
the
sickening.
list goes on and on. When you start looking at how they have our people conditioned, majority of our people conditioned after the wickedness that they do, just to be a part of, to get a crumb off the piece of the table of these people.
It goes into those industries and lose all their morality, man.
Yep.
You know, and we can say it for every artist. You know, because even for someone that's big, like look at Jake that Israelites look up to, like Chris Brown, for example. Man. He got into the game at what, 15, 16, like real young. You know, clean and everything. Now this nigga got skull tattoos of Edomites, man.
Yeah.
You know, he got those tattoos on his head. Literally tattoos of Edomites on his head, man. You know? That's just one example, man. Jake gets messed up into these systems because that's how Esau wants you.
You gotta be a demon test like that, man.
Like a quick one, real quick. Habakkuk 2:15. This is what they do to Jake. It says, "Woe to him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and maketh him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness."
Yeah, that's what they've done. Those philosophies and that bottle. They put the philosophies on our people, and what's happened? Our people drank it up, and then they turn around and laugh at our nakedness. Hip hop is the laughing stock of the Edomite world. By the way, but they can't laugh. Yeah, the culture of it. They can't. Our people think it's a great power, but the people that's not caught up in it because it's Jake doing it. That's not caught up in it. That see the degeneracy of what the actions truly are, you're laughing stock to those people. And that's supposed to be our heritage. The people that were once a royal people. What's the one in Lamentation? This is the city of perfection, the city of beauty. How has he become, you want to grab it, Brother John? The second chapter? Yeah, man, and they're laughing at you, Jake.
It's Lamentation 2:15. It reads, all that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem.
What's the call of degeneracy in the world when it's happening? In the moment, Jake is in their full degeneracy. What do they say now? It's screamed out by everybody. World star. That's like the cat call, so to speak, of Jake just degenerate, man.
In their wickedness.
Just completely in wickedness.
Small hats on the world star.
Yep.
They don't get hurt.
Yeah, because the Jake that was running it, he killed him.
Yeah.
They killed him off and
Yeah.
took over that.
Yeah.
And all that traffic, all those views, people tuning in, that's providing revenue for Amalek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they capitalize off of your
Degeneracy.
ignorance, your
Yeah,
degeneracy.
yeah.
Basically, you being cursed. They eat off of that, man. And you Jakes don't. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got these hip hop artists now. They want their masters.
Yeah.
So who owns the masters, man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Put my masters in the deal. Yeah, but you gonna talk about what the fuck I told you to talk about, though. You know? If you know the Jake don't where those deep tracks that Jake used to have back in the 90s and you know, through the 90s and sometimes in the 80s, they'll have them bullshit tracks, but then they'll have one or two really good ones that connect you.
Yeah.
You know, they don't even have that. It's all
But
bullshit now.
the rap, yeah. Because like back in the 80s, you know, Public Enemy came out and they were, you know, talking about, you know, conscious things and fight the power and then once the gangster rap shit came out,
Yeah.
it was they put an end to that Public Enemy shit. Push this shit, you know. Push this, you know, murder, kill, deal drugs,
Yeah.
and
And then from there where they go, use drugs.
yeah. Look at, and you know, hip hop is cool when you know, when Jake shows Jake's talent, but when you put Esau in the mix, it corrupt everything.
Is Sirach 13:4. It says, if thou be for his profit, he will use thee.
Mm-hmm.
But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee.
Yep. He only wants to use something that he can benefit from. If he can't, and if anybody's been to make a deal with Esau, that's exactly what they're thinking. How can you make me better with more money? How can you benefit me more than you? Even if I benefit greatly, but you benefit far beyond, he don't want that.
Even if it's your idea.
Yeah, he don't want that if it's gonna make you higher up than him. Even if he gets put up high, or you even close to him. He wants to be the only one at the top. Okay? He don't want no uplifting but him. Yep.
It says, if thou be for his profit, he will use thee. But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. If thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yea, he will make thee bare and will not be sorry for it.
Hey, what you in Sirach?
Con.
Which chapter?
13.
Yeah, go to 12. I think it's 12. Set him not by
Yeah,
you.
con.
Yeah, go.
Yeah.
It's 12 and 12. Set him not by thee, least when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place.
Whoa. Don't be close to this dude, because when he has, he'll stand up, he'll take you out and stand up in your place. Classic one we just mentioned was World Star. Another classic is BET. Ain't nobody ain't no brown people running BET.
It says, neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at that last remember my words and be quick therewith. It's also more than 13.
Yes,
So
yes.
jumping back to 13, it's 5. It says, if thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yea, he will make thee bare and will not be sorry for it. If he have need of thee,
And that's what he doing at Nick.
Yeah.
You know, this nigga now, he's donating to, he making
Yeah,
donations to their
Auschwitz.
cause and
Shit
shit.
is
Like,
random Edomite
they
causes.
probably gonna just start extorting this nigga,
Yeah.
you know?
Probably.
They're making he's making a real example out of Jake, man. You know? And they're showing you who got the power.
Yeah.
but we're wrong for speaking up on these things. We're the enemy.
Yeah.
His God, it says, if thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yea, he will make thee bare and will not be sorry for it. If he have need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair and say, what one is thou? And they showed that in James Brown movie.
Yeah.
Little Richard, the guy that was playing Little Richard, he said, there's gonna be a time when you make it to the top and the devil gonna come into you. And he ain't gonna be red holding a pitchfork, he gonna be white in a nice suit. And he gonna ask you, boy, what you want?
Yeah.
But that's the truth, man, because that's what they do to Jake.
That's what they did to Chuck Berry.
If Jake get to a certain social status without Esau profiting off of their talents, Esau gonna come up to him with a deal, man. And that deal is gonna break him, and Jake is gonna end up selling their soul to the devil, man. It says, and put thee in hope, he will speak thee fair and say, what one is thou? And he will shame thee by his meats until he have drawn thee dry twice or thrice. You see that,
Roll
Jake?
you out.
Bro, Jake with albums, man.
Yeah.
You stuck on this contract for 2 albums or
Yeah.
12 albums?
Yeah. Death Row lifetime contracts and shit.
God.
Esau came up with that shit.
Hey, y'all,
They came up with that with Jerry Heller from NWA. You know what I'm saying?
did y'all keeping up with this one UK rapper named Wiley? He's basically they basically kicked him off of Twitter because he was making what they call anti-Semitic tweets. And basically one of his tweets, he said, "Don't tell me how to speak to Jewish people either. I am the reason they are rich in the UK music industry." Fuck them.
Mm.
And he said, "Jewish people, you make me sick, and I will not budge, hold this point."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And somebody else said,
Can I say this real quick? Oh, no, you read that. Then.
"Please shut the fuck up. I'm sick of fucking Jews at this point. You are the most vile people in the history of humanity."
But the word vile again.
So people are just, this is coming from all over, man.
Mm-hmm.
And this UK dude, he's not backtracking. He's not pulling
No.
the Nick Cannon.
No. Was that light skin what he said, I ain't what did he say, I'm not
I'm
Cosby.
not, Yeah.
That was that guy, right? He's like, I ain't Cosby. I didn't go to them parties.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
initiation
That's what he
parties,
said.
yeah.
That's what he said. He was like, I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm anti-slippery, slippery people.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm tired of
Yeah.
people y'all getting over on us.
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot what I was gonna say.
He said a bunch of shit and he wasn't budging, man.
No,
He even posted a post where he had a list of so-called small hats that actually were slave owners during the transatlantic slave trade. Yeah, he was putting it out there, man. And he's like, well, shit. The shit that I'm doing now, y'all don't even have control over that, so I'm still good. I can still
Yeah.
keep, you know.
And that's why some jakes don't make it big. Some jakes never get that top spot on the top 40 or top 100, or they never really hit them charts
Cause
hard.
they ain't kissing ass.
Or
They
they,
won't
or they
kiss.
might have one big song.
Yeah, they have one big song, the
And
deal
then-
come.
And then they
If
had a
don't take the
meeting.
deal. Yeah, they don't take the deal at the meeting, or they go to the mansion party for the deal, right? You don't do the ritual, and they cut you the fuck off.
Get you with that special invite. You know, you had that little talk, secret little talk at this party, at the round table,
Mm-hmm.
and you it's your choice.
Yeah, good movie to see is Starry Eyes, man. Look that movie up.
So back in Sirach 13, it says, and he was 7, and he was shamed thee by his meats until he had drawn thee dry twice or thrice, and at the last he will laugh thee to scorn afterward.
And most jakes that do like the music industry, they only have 2 or 3 good albums. After that, their whole style has to change. And like you can tell that the wicked corruption that then happened to their spirit is starting to spill over into their music, and it ain't the pure energy it once was that the people really connected to. They start getting his sophomore album. They say the second album usually the bad one. They might come back with a good one on their third, but Esau squeeze them all the way out until they got none of that energy left. And profited off of that, then you're gonna get your money when you do your own deals on album 5.
That's
I ain't got no more energy come album 5.
That's even the other entertainment industry, the football, basketball
Yep.
contracts. You got to be on the team for a certain amount of years,
Yep.
or deal extensions and things like that.
I had to bring that up about Scottie Pippen talking about basketball. For the most of his first contract, he had a long contract, or it might be second. But he got better doing that contract. It was on that Jordan Last Dance thing, right? This dude was the number 2 player in the world behind his own teammate, who was like 130th or something crazy in salary.
Shit, even Jordan himself, he
wasn't at the top
signed a
either.
whack contract too.
Yeah, he didn't make no money until the last 2 years of his career.
Yeah.
He made $30 million.
He was the best the whole time.
Yeah.
Huh? Esau had no problem with that. Fucking Mike Doliak and shit. Mike Miller making all the money. Guys that barely do stuff, Anyway.
It says, afterward, when he seeth thee, he will forsake thee and shake his head at thee.
Hey, when you on your way out.
Yeah.
When you on your way out and they ain't got no more use for you, he'll throw you in a t-shirt, parade you around real quick to get one last squeeze of money out of you, and then throw you off and forget about you. Hey, that's what Martin said in his when he run to that. Hey, well, I ain't gonna do me like Ali. Had me out there with a hat on, looking all crazy, and slobbering and shit. I just want to watch the game. Don't do that to me. And when it's over, it's over. You have more? You have something?
Let me get this real quick. It's Proverbs 23:6. It says, "Eat thou not the bread of him that have an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainty meats."
See, don't owe somebody that have an evil eye or have power over you.
Yeah, it gives a man who has an evil eye against you power over you. And that's what Jake do every time they sell out into the industry, man. It says, "For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee." Because he knows right then and there that we got another desperate Negro, who's in need of fame and money, So we gotta, they rubbing their hands and shit like, yeah, we know what to use him for. And it's all, you know, part of that, spiritual warfare, man.
In the movie, you know, I love movies. In the movie, The Devil's Advocate. He came, when the devil first came to Keanu Reeves, it was his perfect record, right? Because it was his pride, because he was perfect. He hadn't lost a case. So he got him with pride. At the end of the movie, when he let the pride go and lost that last case, it was fame that got him. And it was just funny how this devil gonna go around and seek out whatever it is that you seek out, that you're looking for in life, and he will exploit that against you.
Sweet. I got a pretty simple. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Is Ecclesiasticus chapter 12 and verse 16. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to overthrow thee into a pit.
That's why we read in Sirach, the 12th chapter, never trust our enemy, man. Don't set yourself by him. Don't owe him no money. Don't get no deals with him. Try to stay separate from this dude as much as possible. Okay, if at all possible, stay the hell away from him, because he's always, you may be on the up and up, but this dude's always looking how to backdoor it. And that's what Trump is bringing, that spirit outwardly to the world. Everything this dude has got his hands in, the people are leery about what he's going to do with it. Right? Why the hell you over in the Middle East? He's like, well, we're looking for a deal. We're trying to make peace over here. Oh, really? The moment Soleimani showed up anywhere, they smoked that dude. First opportunity. With no apologies for it. You know? But
He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first.
every major tragedy that happens in the earth, whether natural disasters or not, this man is always the first. The Red Cross is there. President such and such. This guy, his stature is there. You know,
Gates Foundation.
Yeah, Gates or somebody. There's always somebody there representing Esau and their agenda that's connected to the top. Okay, every single time, so he can take advantage of that situation. What's their that motto? I forgot who said it. It said, "Don't let a good crisis go to waste."
Yeah.
No, he ain't gonna let nothing bad happen without him profiting off of it, good or bad. There you go.
Though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. He will shake his head and clap his hands, and whisper much, and change his countenance.
Wow. It's fucking fake, man.
I got some.
Yep.
Here's some to the guy who was weeping in the scripture, brother read. Hebrews 12 and 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright, for he know that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected. For he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears.
And I always thought in my mind, you know, the scriptures don't necessarily say that this dude was just insincere about them tears, man. He wasn't mad, you know, he was mad because he wasn't getting what he wanted. He's throwing a fucking tantrum. Because he didn't get the birthright. Alright? And in that same moment, what did he do? He went out to slay his brother, Jacob. His own flesh and blood, same way Cain slayed. And see, the problem is we keep bringing up those with that wicked Edomite spirit on them, between Cain all the way up to Esau, and even the serpent from Genesis. That same spirit continues to do the same, have the same motive in the earth every time he does anything. Okay, he always wants to destroy Israelites and gain more power to himself. That's his whole agenda. If there's a cool Edomite, and I know the difference between an Edomite and someone that may be an Israelite foreigner, or even a heathen foreigner that may look like an Edomite or whatever, right? But when you get that real Edomite, you know what their agenda is, because they can't hide it forever. They're looking for the opportunity to use it against you.
So he humbled himself.
Go crouching.
Go crouching, man.
Exactly right. That was it.
Yeah,
You said
You read Sirach 13 and 9, right, Jim?
think so.
Oh no, I didn't even know.
Okay. It's about 13 and 9. If thou be invited of a mighty man, withdraw thyself, and so much the more he will invite thee. Press thou not upon him, lest thou be put back. Stand not far off, lest thou be forgotten. Affect not to be made equal unto him in talk, and believe not his many words.
So it say, envy not thy oppressor and choose none of his ways.
Mhm.
It's supposed to be separate from, especially from the wicked man in the earth. His history is his track record and what he's about. How his tree get down. You know, if his tree is dressed in night. Yeah, it's dressed with wickedness, corruption.
For with much communication he will tempt thee, and smiling upon thee he will get out thy secrets. But cruelly he will lay up his but cruelly he will lay up thy words, and he will not spare to do thee hurt, and put thee to put thee in prison.
And it's funny because the title was mentioned right now, but the title of this video is how the truth will be demonized across the whole world, attacked. All right, why? And somebody is bringing out the truth against the wicked that's in rulership. That ruler, that wicked ruler, has to try to stop, has to attack those that he feels he's being attacked by. But is it an attack when you bring out the truth? Well, if you've been lying, yes. Okay, and he has to come down. He's going to come down with great wrath because he knows they have a short time because everybody's revealing him. I'm still holding the 2 Thessalonians and asking something.
Yeah, and we're, even though the world hates us, we're contributing to the spirit of Esau being exposed and,
Right.
and you know, things coming out left and right at him. You know, we're contributing to that spirit. We put that spirit out there into the air.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and now people are starting to see it. So that's why ultimately the persecution is going to come down against us.
Right. Because we got the most, we've been doing this on this guy for so long. We got all the prophecies against him. We got all the information and the history that we could squeeze out of this dude, out of his libraries and everything else, out of this internet, getting it on him. And attributing it to the people that we're describing right now. And that's the problem, and that's why they're going to have to attack it, because we're using the same book that they don't like, but the book of power and prophecy, we're using that against them. And they know they can't come against the power of this book. So they're going to have to come up against those that hold the book.
Yeah. And don't get us wrong, like, I mean, you had other people outside of
Right.
the Israelite faith that came out and
Right.
gave Esau hell. Like going back to the 60s,
Mm-hmm.
which that was around the time where the Lord prophesied that, you know, he would start going down. That's when you started to see, you know, men come out and start, you know, speaking on, you know, his wicked history, the injustices that's going on, and, you know, you had a lot of that come out, a lot of speakers, you know, but we're out there standing in great boldness, and we're doing it biblically.
We have a source. We're not just how we feel about it,
Yep.
opinions. Even if it was historical facts, we're actually using the book of prophecy, the most respected book on earth, to condemn him. I have 2 Thessalonians, reading. And just one or two lines in here.
Start closing too.
I got two scriptures.
Got other precepts.
Yeah, I got a couple. Yeah. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. I gotta start at the top. 3 of them. It says, "Let no man." I'll read through most of it. Y'all jump in as necessary. "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first." And we did fall away from our heritage, from the Most High, from who we were. Okay. And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. The word perdition, I believe, means destruction, right? It says, who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Remember ye not that when I was...
Starting with the the first crime family.
Yeah.
Yep.
They were literally the head of the church.
They're the biggest degenerates ever, but yet they put their faces up as the image of our higher power. Man.
Right.
You know, they changed the truth of the Most High into a lie. They hijacked the Vatican, took over the Catholic Church,
Yep.
whitewashed it, and the rest was history, man.
Yep. His story.
Done.
The rest was his story. Yep.
And they was able, from that point on, they was able to take over the whole planet, man.
That's right.
And messed our people heads up in the process. There's still strongholds that we're breaking because it has such a long-lasting effect.
Mm-hmm.
That's why that's another reason why this man gotta go down, man.
The level he's gone to deceive the world, to lie about who he was, to hide who he truly is, I should say. He went all the way to the edge of the cliff, man, and went over the edge. You know? And so the Most High has to make sure you follow through over the edge, you gotta go all the way off the edge to your destruction. You can't put yourself in the position of his chosen people and harm his chosen people and think nothing is gonna be all good for you forever. Come on now. You know, that shows that you don't believe in the Most High. You believe in yourself as being that supreme power. Verse 5, it said, remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. And this is his time. This is his rulership right now. It says he's being revealed in it. That's why he's so mad. You won't let nobody speak out against him. The internet has an algorithm. If you bring up their letters and their names and their true identities, or you speak negatively against their false their stolen identity, you instantly get kicked off the internet. Okay, that's just that.
Yeah, but you can talk about anybody.
You talk, man.
anything.
Everybody else, they let the word goose go out there, slow, slat-eyed niggas, bitches, hoes. They let everybody else catch theirs, Arabs, sand niggers, whatever else they want to call them. They let all that go out there, but let something be said about the small hat. This man, the world fucking stops his front news, and then what happens to you after that? They make a big deal about it.
And that's why they're gonna make it to where if you identify with the Hebrew Israelite belief, basically our belief is an anti-Semitic belief.
Yeah.
So that's why it's going to be pushed throughout the whole entire world that basically being a Hebrew Israelite is a anti-Semitic, hateful, extreme belief system that basically has no place in society, and pretty much, you know, the world's gonna, just because, you know, they're easily beguiled by this devil's mind games, they're gonna buy into that. You know, they're gonna buy into it. Now, not every, because you're gonna have some of our people that may not necessarily fully agree with us, but they know based on their interactions with us that we're actually, it's a certain way we operate.
Right.
They know that we ain't out there shooting people up. We ain't, you know, we're not reckless, man.
We're spiritual people.
We're spiritual, and all they're gonna do when they encounter us is they're gonna get Bible scriptures quoted at them. You know.
Yeah, that's even for the Edomites that came up to start contention,
Yeah.
and then they end up getting edified. And they're like, "Dang, wait, so y'all not aggressive? Y'all just talking."
Hey, you
Yeah.
vocab.
Kind.
You know, at least at Greg Millstone, you know, they gonna make you work. Greg Millstone, you know, that we gonna make you work to know what you're talking about. But you ain't got nothing else to worry about. You ain't got to worry about nobody. Jay coming over with the blind side, knocking you out. You ain't got none of that to worry about talking to us. It's all spiritual. But you're gonna be hurt worse. You gonna wish you was knocked out, and beat up, and jumped, and kicked, and stomped out, and all that after we dropped these scriptures on you. 'Cause they cut way deeper. That was it on that? I was reading that. I thought somebody threw a quick for me. Well, I'm going to jump over to, I want to make sure this verse came out in Obadiah. Verse 6, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hid things sought up? Right? I want to make sure that came out because he's being revealed in his time. All right, let me go back to 2 Thessalonians. It says, verse 7, for the mystery of iniquity do already work. Only he who now will let until he be taken out the way. And then will that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. And that's what the attack is going to have to come, because we're consuming this devil with the spirit of the Most High's mouth. We're his mouthpiece, as we mentioned earlier. Okay, we see the bullshit from all angles. That's why when brother brought out the truth, the definition, the scriptures on truth earlier, that the truth stands alone, man. You can know lies of the truth, all of those things matter, because when we bring this out, you can say that we're lying all you want, but the truth is the truth. No matter how you slice it, the truth will always be true. All right? And maybe it don't come out today, but eventually it's gonna come all the way out.
Yeah, truth is gonna be made manifest. That's right. Lord Yahushua comes back, everybody gonna know.
That's right. And they gonna know that there has been a prophet of the Most High and his son amongst them.
Original Solomon, the 5th chapter.
Right? Yeah, I want to say we gotta pull that one more. It says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord Yahweh, Bashim Yahshua, shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Yep.
Because what he's going into is how the Lord's going to return.
Right.
And when the Lord returns to get at these devils, simultaneously, the men of the Lord who they demonized,
Yep.
who they persecuted, who they threw in concentration camps, some of them whom they beheaded,
Yep.
they're going to be amazed at the strangeness of their salvation.
Mm-hmm.
Certain brothers getting resurrected, coming out of their graves and getting caught up into the beamed up into the ship. Different brothers, all across Babylon and around the world, that they had in a messed up, predicament.
Mm-hmm.
And brothers is gonna get miraculously delivered, man.
Right.
And then they're gonna see that we was telling the truth. And the elites are gonna be, man, you know how shook up they're gonna be, man. That's why they're gonna be in hiding in that time. At least, hey, the super higher up elites, they know what we saying is the truth.
Yep.
They know.
They're the ones that's most scared. They're the ones that's out there protecting Amalek to a T. They figure as long as they can keep Amalek as being the J's, then they should be all right. But that ain't true. Nobody's starting to believe that. That's why they got to go back to Cannon's class and then push all of this stuff about who they supposed to be. Then they got Grandmaster J on the other side showing the niggas, even when we're organized, we're still lowly niggas, man.
Right.
Violent criminals and so on and so forth. Even when military trained, they're still degenerates. They're still not fit to rule. They're still delinquents and whatever else they can say about us.
Hey, why is it that our videos, like the moment you put them up, like maybe minutes, maybe a few hours later, they get taken down?
Mm-hmm.
That video that Nick Cannon did that he got all the backlash for, they didn't take that down. He took it down.
Yeah.
Right. He took it down himself.
He took it down.
Mm-hmm. They tell you taken down by the cop. Yeah.
He took it down. But when we do videos, we don't take it down. They take them down.
Yep.
So that shows you right there, man. Esau is watching and he's threatened by this truth, man.
Right.
And that's where the attack. I mean, because a brother said it on the comment board. The truth has already been under attack. Yeah, that's true. But watch how Esau turned it up, man.
Yeah.
He hasn't fully come all the way down. Like we've seen him do things here and there, like the psyop with the New Jersey thing, and he's doing things like that. But just wait till worldwide.
Exactly.
He gonna be after brothers, man.
When the brother read that at Sirach, the 12th chapter and the 13th chapter, that's exactly the MO of his death. Okay? And knowing that that's what he does, and he will get close to you and take you out the way, and if you ever fall into any trouble, that's when he's going to use that moment of weakness to take you out. He's going to kick you while you're down. Okay? But if it had not been for Yahweh Shimon Shai, he would have been taking us out. Okay? But the spirit, that's why the truth in the prophecies of Yahweh Shemashah will stand, and they can't be moved. All right, there's a grape of the country that can't be plucked out. There's nothing Esau can do, whether it's on from the 2/3 side trying to infiltrate Jake that way, with Grandmaster Jake, or the other side with vocab, or what these small hats are doing, or anybody. The truth
False
will,
Israelite
Yep.
groups,
Mhm.
leaders.
Exactly. The ones that sold out, no matter what, you're not gonna be able to stop this truth. Okay, that was it.
Yeah, Wisdom of Solomon 5, and you can end it with that.
Come. This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5 and verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him.
Yep, and that's what you see happening.
Yep.
Like the fact that we're, we harden our foreheads against our ops, so to speak, our
Yep.
enemies. Some of even the jakes that watch us, like the celebrities, I think part of them seeing us being as bold as we are is why they're building their confidence to come out and say something.
Yep.
Even though some of them know that they're gonna get backlash if they do it,
I heard more
like
for
that
them.
UK rapper.
Yeah, he don't get. They don't.
But he don't give a shit.
Right.
And I think that dude's watching the brothers out there in the UK.
Yeah, I think he came across it.
You know?
Yeah.
So more people are gonna start speaking up, just watching the prophets, man.
And it's a different vibration,
It is.
you know, with just any random Hebrew Israelite or any religious group speaking of the Lord, or any conscious group, whatever, speaking of the Lord, versus the truth.
The comic book, because like we always say, you can argue with Jake all day, but if you don't have if you don't have truth within it, then it makes it hard to fight.
Exactly.
You know, that's why
Whoever had the truth is going to win.
every time,
Yeah.
every time.
And it's only a matter of time.
Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. And they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision.
That's crazy. It says repenting. Esau will try to repent that day. Yeah.
Yeah, why would we shouldn't have, I know we shouldn't have fucking
Yeah,
killed.
and the 2/3.
Yeah, I should, I knew it was the one we should
Nigga
have.
Polite and Sonnet are gonna try to
Oh,
repent. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Vocab, all these demons that came up against us,
Yeah.
you know, they're all gonna be trying to repent.
And one example, if I may throw it in real quick, was Paul. Paul believed, just like these other people that's come against the truth, they really believe they're fighting for the right thing. Just like Paul, when he was persecuting the church, he believed he was fighting for the right thing. But when it's thrown out there, you see the whole truth of the scope of the Most High, the angle he has set up, that's when they're going to want to repent. But like, damn, I didn't know. But yeah, you did know. They were telling you. I told them to tell you. You know? You got it out.
And they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision, and a proverb of reproach.
Mm-hmm.
We fools accounted his life madness, and his end to be without honor. How is he numbered among the children of the Most High, and his lot is among the saints? Therefore have we erred, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
From the way of truth,
Ooh.
From the way of
You
truth.
heard away from the way of the truth.
Yeah.
You know?
Because the truth, like we just said, the truth is always what wins. As long as you got the truth on your side, you win.
and the lack of
A lot
righteousness,
of people that had lack of faith, they're gonna be confounded that they didn't have faith. It's gonna eat them up like, damn, why didn't I believe? You know? Hey,
Yeah.
He wasn't chosen.
The election haven't tainted it.
Yeah,
that's what's
Right.
right.
God. That's it, man. Go ahead.
And the light of righteousness hath not shined unto us.
That's because you didn't want the light to shine unto you.
Because your deeds were evil. You had to be reproved.
Yeah.
Hey, the worst thing is, I was gonna use a kid angle, but when you gotta say a cut or something, right? You gotta cut, you gotta put that alcohol and clean it out. That's the worst thing, right? But guess what? Once it's clean, now it can heal back. The longer you prolong that light or that cleaner to get in there and fix it, the longer it's gonna be for it to heal.
Be infectious.
It's gonna, if you don't ever heal, it's gonna become infection and become worse. And that's what happens to a lot of people that didn't choose to come to the light. They're offended. They were offended.
That learned sting too bad.
Now I was gonna say they couldn't man up to take that in to progress.
Yeah, because we were living in a state of darkness at one point.
Yeah, we had
And we
to
was
go through
rebuked, but we wasn't offended. We acknowledged that this was the truth. And we steady walking in the light, man.
And we humbled to that, to that process. Losing everything is plenty of reasons.
It's a two-edged sword, man.
Right.
And we all get cut by it.
But still.
Yeah.
And the Son of Righteousness rose not upon us.
We're chosen.
Hey, called.
Yeah, she was chosen.
We wearied ourselves in the way of wickedness and destruction. Yeah, we have gone through deserts where there lay no way. But as for the way of the Lord, we have not known it.
He didn't reveal of his secrets unto you. He did it unto his servants, the prophets.
Keep going, right?
Well, you maybe a little more, but you know.
That's pretty much landed right there.
Yeah, we still want, because I still go with what have pride, profited. Verse 8, what had pride profited us, or what good had riches with our bounty brought us?
Can we get one final script to close that? And where's the 2 Ezra 8, 50?
This is 2 Ezra 8, verse 50, and it reads, it says, for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter times shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride.
They didn't want to cross over into the light. They didn't want to humble to the cleaning up. We're talking about the Jakes, which will become the 2/3. We're talking about them. They didn't want to humble to it in the rest of the world either. They didn't want to repent their evil way and their attack against us. And so they got to get the judgment that comes. And they will know that they have been a prophet among us. Okay, we probably should wrap with that one. You know, Ezekiel, 33rd. But that's the point though.
Yeah, that's it. That's the point. All right, so anyway, with that, you know, Lord willing, when you brothers tuned in, we're edified. We're gonna give all praise, glory, and honor to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakodash.
the one to our elder apostles of the great millstone. Peace and salutation to the hopeful elect. We'll say shalom.
Shalom. Everybody pause. I thought the video was from.